What you got? Good. The target is Kicking Dog, a humongous savage who broke away from the Whitelegs a while back and formed his own gang. Seeing as to how he only had a few men with him, Dog eventually joined up with Marco, who was more than happy to put his skills to use. Kicking Dog got his name from the way he kicks men to death, all while he snarls and drools like a mad dog. He's probably on chems. You can find him and a few compadres over in Wolfhead Cavern, not far from here. Any questions? Yeah, he likes to knock people down and then pound the shit out of them. He's big, fast, and mean, so it works most of the time. My advice is to keep your distance, cripple him, then take your time planting shots in his dome. Size and strength don't mean shit if you put a bullet in his brain. Anything else? Alright, just be careful, and I'll see you when you get back. Good luck.
Summary just evildoers. No. I'll rip your evildoers. Damn. molested your last kitten, Judge Richter. It's time to face justice. Woo! Man, we showed them boys. Legend.
I'm gonna be a legend.
Jesus! Look at all that blood!
Yes? 2 for the price of 1.5. Sorry, but she was just a target of opportunity. Jackson was the real prize. Excellent work. Yes? This one is delicate, but the payout is significant. Your job is to eliminate one of the Republic's worst traitors, Joe Frost. A few years ago, Joe was working as a high-level technician in an intelligence agency. His specialty was in surveillance equipment, to be specific. He discovered that a rogue element in the agency was unlawfully monitoring citizens in the hopes of rooting out Frumentarii. Instead of reporting this to his superiors up the chain of command, Frost decided to leak the program and any pertinent intelligence to the press. This has been a public relations nightmare for the Republic. But, more importantly, divulging that intelligence has endangered our troops. He released secret troop movements, plans, and other highly sensitive information. All the Frumentari had to do was pick up the damn newspaper. Unwilling to abide by the law and face a fair trial, Frost absconded like a coward. We've been fruitlessly searching for him. Until now. I have it on good authority that he's staying at the Frost Hill Hotel. I want you to discreetly terminate him, preferably with no witnesses. Do you have any questions? When 2 platoons of troopers are ambushed and massacred because of the leak, that's when. Frost's sedition has gotten men killed. Good luck, then.
What you got? I suppose he kicked his last then. Serves that savage right. Here's your reward. Come on back when you're ready for the next one. What you got? This time you're going after Squirrely Bill Blasius, big mouth cowboy who heads a gang of rowdies called the Vaqueros. In addition to being a full-time bandit, he claims to have the most magnificent mustache in the territory. In my experience, only civil servants and pedophiles wear mustaches with pride. He's definitely not the former, so that narrows it down. Old Bill recently set himself up at the town saloon, and he's now in the midst of a gambling bender. He also brought a few ruffians with him. A bounty is a bounty, but this one ain't so simple. We already have a touchy relationship with the town, so I don't want to make things worse. You can't just slip in and chop his head off or snipe him. It needs to at least look like self-defense, otherwise the townsfolk get all pissy. I've no doubt you can find some way to offend the fella. Once he draws on you, it's fair game. If you can pull it off, I'll throw in a bonus. Word has it that he's particularly touchy about the mustache, so there's a start. Any questions? If it were me, I'd bash his testicles with the butt of my pistol, but that's probably a bit overt. Oh, I almost forgot. He is supposed to be sweet on that yellow-haired whore, Lori. He likes to keep a monopoly on her when he's in town. I imagine it would be disconcerting if you were to partake of the young lady, particularly in earshot of Mr. Blasius. Any other questions? He's better than most, but he's mainly just crazy. Unpredictable is probably a better description. That's how he got his name. He's hard to read. He's like a lot of these hotshot banditos. Everything is wrapped up in that revolver at his side. Disarm him or wound him, and he's helpless. Any other questions? Don't forget, there's a bonus if you make Bill draw first. Good luck.
Those fiend junkies over at Vault 3 have been taking some hits. I say kill them all.
You hear there was some kind of shootout at one of them casinos on the Strip? Some people got killed or something.
What do you want? Even here, out in this frozen hole, the Republic still finds me. It was bound to happen, I just didn't expect it here of all places. I bet it was Brookshire. It was, wasn't it? Wickham wouldn't go for this. Clark is too stupid to find me. No, it has to be Brookshire. That slime. I did their dirty work for years, tapping phone lines and helping them spy on regular citizens. This war, it made them compromise our principles. This isn't the Republic I learned about in school. Tandy wouldn't have stood for this. The people had a right to know. Are you so blind that you can't see what's happening? They're just using you right now, and soon enough, you'll be discarded. Good to know that my very life or death will be determined by your moral compass. This truly is the worst of all possible worlds.
Howdy! I won't dance around the truth like some of these folks. I was a raider back in my youth, and a nasty one at that. Now, I ain't exactly proud of that, but I ain't ashamed either. It was a sure way to survive, not to mention steady access to poontang. Notions of morality and even self-preservation tend to pale in comparison to such matters when you're a young man. Enough years go by, and you start to slow down, though. Take a few bullets, and you're slower still. Unless you're chief, getting old and raiding don't mix. After I damn near got my nuts cut off over a bottle of whiskey, I called it quits. Been here for almost 30 years now. I remember when Pop Jameson ran this shop, sold some mean meat pies. Town had been in place for at least a few decades when I came up here. Rumor was that cannibals started it, but I never saw anything like that. Little bit of trading with caravans, but it's mostly bighorners. They do better up in this climate. Tend to have tastier meat for some reason. The weather can be tough on folks at first, seeing as to how it's a big shock. You get used to it, though. Hell, I've come to prefer it. It's too cold for death claws and any badass bugs like cazadors. I say fuck those things to whatever hell they came from. My bones might ache a little more, and the mornings are uncomfortable, but at least I won't get stung to death by those fucking devil wasps. When you're young and wild, it's a damn enjoyable lifestyle. Drink, fuck, party all the time. You might die going after a caravan, but fuck it. I ain't proud of everything I done, but it was all we knew. Most were orphans or rejects who had enough balls to fight for a meal. Today you got crazies like the fucking 80s, the Whitelegs and the Claws, all bloodthirsty lunatics killing everyone they see. Ridiculous. He came in from the east, which is more than a little unusual. Only had a few scouts with him, but I could tell he meant business. Marco didn't cause no fuss, though. Just got himself a shack near the old graveyard and minded his own business. He'd come into town and buy supplies every week. Always paid up front, was polite to everyone. After a while, we just figured he had started over like the rest of us. We all heard stories of things he'd done, but who knows what's true. When word came about all that business down in the Mojave, with you killing Sergio and all, Marco changed. He was restless. More of his old buddies started showing up and camping in the hills. Only reason they didn't cause trouble is because they feared Marco. Not long after that, Randall rolled in with a pack of bounty hunters and some NCR suit funding them. Canyon has become a fucking war zone since. Ain't gonna happen. No way in hell. Most of us still have bounties. And even if we get amnesty, NCR would still use it to void our property rights. NCR wants one thing. Silver. I heard they had money problems since somebody ruined their gold, so they're after the next best thing. To the NCR, we're just an impediment, nothing more. They'll fuck us with a bear dick while they rob us blind. Won't even think twice about it. Most of 'em are ruthless bastards, cutthroats out for a quick handful of caps. Not much better than raiders, really. They just act legitimate. How'd you get caught up in that business anyhow? You don't seem like a bad man. But then again, maybe I'm not a good judge of character anymore. Shit, we got a true blue vigilante. Ain't met too many. They don't live long, believe me. Most are a little too self-righteous. No offense. All I ask is that you remember that not all of us is bad, you hear? Everybody makes mistakes, and we all pay for it in the end. Sometimes that little voice in your noggin is worse than any hangman's noose, believe you me. You just remember that. Hell yes, you could solve my rat problem. They done taken over the entire goddamn floor, and there's one monster rat that's running the show. He's a big greasy fucker with gnarled teeth and evil eyes, like some hell-spawned vermin of the night. A few months back, I went up there to clean the rats out with a shovel. You know, bashing their brains out. It's kind of fun sometimes. Anyway, I'm smashing and bashing, and out of nowhere this mutant bastard comes charging. If I hadn't had that shovel, he'd have bit my leg off. He was big as a goddamn attack dog. I gave him a good whack on the noggin, and he just glared and flashed them shitty fangs. I took it upon myself to make a tactical retreat, sealed up that whole floor. I'm ashamed to say that the Rat King has licked me for the time being. If you can slay that critter, I'll give you the whole upstairs for as long as you're here. I'll clean the place up, of course. What do you say? I could have just hired Big Tim for this kind of dough. Just make sure it gets done.
You molested your last kitty, Judge Richter. Time to face justice.
Howdy! That is great news. You just stay put. I'll have that place cleaned up in no time.
What can I do for you? My story? Well, I came to Frost Hill looking to spread the gospel and save the souls of all these villainous bums. You should see your face, stranger. I can't tell if you want to run or reach for a weapon. Relax. I'm not having a fit or anything. You'll have to forgive me, seeing as to how I don't have many newcomers up and ask me about my background. Just seems a little bit odd. If you must know, I came here after a minor legal dispute. Settled down and opened up this fine establishment. Not much else to say. What about you? What's your story? I would hope so. You're lucky that you didn't come out of it half retarded. Look, if you need any repairs, stop by anytime. Good luck to you. What can I do for you? About 10 years ago, I was working as a smith and doing general repairs near Sacktown. Most of my family had been around there for ages. Most of my kin were farmers and the like, minded our own business. I was very close with my big sister, Kate, who was studying with the followers. She was hoping to become a doctor, so she helped out in their clinic. One night, a drunk rager came in for stitches after he had busted his head. Kate tended to this ranger, a guy named Daniels, who had it in his head that he would pick up Kate then and there. She would have nothing of it. Everybody said he got loud, belligerent, threatened to kill her if she didn't agree to date him. Followers threw him out. When Kate left the clinic, she never came home. They found her corpse in a ditch the next morning. There was an investigation, and a trial. Daniels denied everything, pulled rank, and stories of his heroism out of his ass during his testimony. Cocksucker walked, got off scot-free. On the way out, he smiled and winked at my family. He laughed as he walked by me. I was younger and more angry back then. The night after he was freed, I tracked him down to his cabin, then waited till he was in his bed. He might have been a badass ranger, but once I got my hands on him, it was over. He wheezed like a dying bird. I squeezed his neck so hard that I felt his spine crack. There were no witnesses. But the law's a bit more efficient when a ranger's on the slab and not a farmer's daughter. They put out a warrant on me, so I ran. And there was a bounty. Frost Hill was my only option then. They always told us to trust in the NCR's justice, but it failed Kate. What else could I do? Was I just supposed to be a fucking sheep? What are you supposed to do? What would you have done? Then you understand. You can't put a man in some box and call it civilization. That's slavery, plain and simple. I won't live like that. What can I do for you? Where else could we go? Legion territory? East? My choices are tyranny or chaos. No, I'll stick right here. You know what makes me happy? Seeing my children go to school and able to play outside, free from fear. I'll pay any price for that. I've only seen him a handful of times, but I know he's dangerous. It's how he carries himself. It's obvious. It's like his eyes are always on edge. But all that aside, it's been nothing but amicable in town. Truth is, people are glad to have him around. He keeps out the really bad guys. 80s were looking like they could be a threat before he showed up. Whatever he did before, nobody around here seems to care much, myself included. Last week, a traveler from down south was telling stories about some slave revolt over in Arizona, right outside Flagstaff. Hard to believe something like that could happen in the Legion's backyard, but who knows? It's a bunch of has-been lawbreakers, renegades, and rejects, but it's a community nonetheless. There's an unusual degree of philanthropy, in fact. Outsiders just assume that this is some kind of lawless shithole brimming with vice and intrigue, but it's surprisingly quiet most of the time. Okay then.
Hey there, Cuddy, what'd you do with my smokes? I don't know a goddamn thing with our smokes. Probably up your ass. You lying, boy. Where'd you put my fucking smokes? I like my pre-war menthols. Why you gotta keep smoking? Makes me sick to my stomach. I don't like it. Coughing and gagging. I'm trying to cut hair here. What are you, the general fucking surgeon now? Shut the fuck up. Give me my fucking smokes. I'm gonna make the noise. You think I care about the noise? You don't scare me. I was in the Master's Army. I don't give a fuck about your fucking noise. Oh, Master's Army, okay, you asked for it. Very mature. We got a customer here. Act like a fucking baby. You can stop. La. God, okay, you fucking win. I got your fucking smokes, you fucking asshole. Fucker. Oh, that wasn't so hard now, was it? You just don't have a great appreciation for this beautiful voice. That's why we don't have customers, 'cause you act like a fucking moron. Keep pushing me, I'm gonna walk out that fucking door. You just fucking watch. What you need there? I was a young barber when the bombs dropped. Just kind of picked it back up once I got, like this. It's a real shitstorm for a while, but managed to make my way to New Reno. Got hair for the wise guys until they started getting fresh. Hired Cuddy here as an apprentice slash, bodyguard. Weird combination, I know. He helped me stave off the wise guys for a while. Finally, they shot up the place, burned it down, and I figured, well, that's fucking enough. I kinda like the cool weather, so does Cuddy, and since we were basically walking dead men in Reno, we figured this would be safe. We don't have any intricate outlaw stories, we're just kind of lazy slobs who like to cut hair. Good enough? Okay. Hello. Well, I robbed caravans and ate babies, and then sacrificed virgins in the name of the master. I'm just fucking with you. I came here with Cocker to cut hair, and I'm not just to it. Worked with the master that, didn't work out. Kind of a fucking disaster. And worked as a bodyguard. Got kind of tired of getting beat up and shot, so Cocker agreed to train me if I'd protect his shop in Reno from the wise guys. They were a real persistent bunch. I killed a few, made one guy's head into like this grape jelly substance. Kind of impressive, actually. But they don't really give up. They're like fucking swarm of bees or something. So, yeah, we decided to come here because it's more laid back. I really like the snow, though. I mean, it's fucking cool. You don't get to see that shit much anywhere else. I like fucking snowmen. I really like making them and taking the carrots and little beads and shit. And I enjoy it. And the kids around here are nice. I don't have to break people's heads open. It's a really cool place. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 20 caps, that's it. Just tell me how short you want it. Get you set right up. Bye.
What can I do for you? Raided for a bit in the rowdy days of my youth, till I met the right lady and ended up settling down. NCR still had a price on my head, though. I've been here for over 12 years now. My wife was with me for like 10 of them. It's an imperfect town, but, it's ours. It was hardly any trouble till the hunters showed up, started raising hell going after Marco's boys. Ain't nothing good gonna come of it. You got no idea. First time I saw her was in a frontier town outside of the saloon. Me and some of the crew were in town to buy supplies. She had brown hair that cascaded past her neck, and when she turned and I saw those eyes, tiny sapphires winking at me, I knew she was the one. It was as if she already knew who I was, what I'd done, and didn't care. Right woman has power over a man and can make him forsake everything he is. Tammy was like a cool breeze that calmed my soul. I quit the crew and started honest work in town. Finally got the nerve to talk to her. When she spoke to me, time itself, the very universe, was irrelevant. We had a connection right from the start. Unfortunately, her dad was the sheriff. He knew my background, believed I'd never change, that I'd only put Tammy in harm's way. If I was in his shoes, I might have done the same. He found out that the NCR had put a bounty on my head, so he called in the hunters to run me off. It was do or die, so Tammy and I eloped. She put all of her trust in me, and I did my damnedest to honor it by protecting her, providing for her. Shit, I brought her here to do just that. We had a lot of good years, kind that make you forget about pain, life in general. And then the fever took her 2 years ago. I buried her up in the old graveyard, up near the summit. It's colder up there, but more quiet. I visit when I can. At least I have my boy. Sometimes I wonder if she'd still be alive if I just played my part and kept on raiding. I often hear the question, can people change? But I always ask, should we change? Maybe we're set on a course for a reason. What do you think? Well, that's putting it pretty straight, then. No hiding behind thoughts of destiny or fate. Fair enough. Sure thing. Yeah, see you later.
What do you need?
Hello, welcome to Frost Hill. I am Brian Jeffers, mayor of this fine town, now serving in my 3rd term. It's a really exciting time to be here. Whatever or whoever brought you here, just know that you're welcome to trade, so long as you follow a few rules. Violence that falls outside the scope of equitable self-defense will result in immediate banishment from the canyon, with no exceptions. With that out of the way, would you mind if I inquire into your business in Frost Hill? Perhaps I can be of assistance. I'm not one to judge someone else on their manner of occupation, but I would strongly urge you to keep that to yourself while in town. There have been some recent disagreements, and passions are still high with some of the population. Tact is paramount. I've no doubt that you'll exercise good judgment and prudence when discussing your profession. Have a good stay in Frost Hill. Great to see you again. What can I do for you? We had a sheriff once, but after the last one fell into drinking nonstop, the town just decided to do away with the office entirely. We have an informal militia of sorts, but given the high rate of firearms ownership and the presence of a certain man named Marco, we feel safe enough. A variety of unforeseen circumstances, my friend. I was once a respected member of a community east of New Reno. Had a good life there. When the NCR decided to annex our town, I protested in the interest of property rights, though it was merely a token gesture to aid negotiations. Unfortunately, the Brahmin barons spearheading annexation didn't appreciate my subtle tactics and interpreted it as a legitimate threat. I'm not a violent man, but when some clerk informed me that I was losing my land, I found the man who'd engineered my displacement and shot him. In hindsight, it was unforgivably stupid, just asinine. But when you push a man too far, he will lash out. I had no legal recourse. I had to gather my family and flee across hundreds of miles of hazardous terrain, with bounty hunters and raiders all around. It was hellish. Frost Hill saved me and my entire family. They didn't care who I was or what I had done, but helped us without hesitation or questions. It might be damn cold, but Frost Hill will be my home until I die. On that note, if the NCR wants this town, it will have to be over my dead body. It has its ups and downs, but at least we're free from outside influence. Marco was kind enough to rid us of the 80s threat. I still don't understand why so many people are out to get him. He's been nothing but good to us since he's arrived. Hell, none of us here can judge the man for having a rough past. Besides, he's not a youngster anymore. Age tends to change people. Until the bounty hunters showed up, he was content to stay shacked up with his significant other, a nice young lady by the name of Polly. I know you've got your reasons, but can't you just leave us alone? Do you even know Marco? Why are you doing this? Just remember that most of us aren't involved with Marco, and we shouldn't pay for whatever he's done. Take care now.
Hi. What do you need?
Yes. I was trained by the followers, then opened up a practice in my hometown, Bishop. It was a good life, until my wife died suddenly. Brain aneurysm. I picked up a drinking habit not long after. It started to affect my work. One night I botched a delivery. The mother and baby died. I was nearly lynched. Surely would have been hanged or shot if I'd gone to trial. I managed to slip out of town before the sheriff could find me. So, that's what brought me here. I like to be upfront about my past with any patients. Sorry if that was awkward. I quit drinking years ago, so you don't have to worry about me sawing off the wrong limb or anything. Here's what I have.
Bienvenido to the First Bank of Frosthill. How may I assist you today? Once I was a robber of banks. It was very, very good. It was an enjoyable life full of irony and pity. Until I angered the NCR, of course. Stealing bullion from one of their reserve banks hit a nerve in the great. Also. They sent rangers to kill me, but I was too quick. I have made a good life here since. A cold life, but a good one nonetheless. I believe such cold is a small taste of death, so it makes me uneasy. JJ, so many jokes about it. I just like the touch of money, even the smell. It is like life in the palm of your hands, no? Think about it. You have food, entertainment, travel, even sex when you hold currency. Doesn't matter if it's caps, paper, or that funny Legion gold. You have money, you can do anything. You can be anybody. I sleep better knowing that I have such power. Sadly, I have no family left. I turned ghoul not long after the war, so I cannot make little Vasquezes. Not that it'll stop me from trying, though, you know. It is such a different world than what came before. Families are so rare, so fragile. It is a blessing to see the little ones here in town. What about you? Do you have a family, traveler? Luciendo, it was rude of me to ask. Please forgive me. I will pray for you. Travelers from the south say a great of the Legion is gathered to attack a place called Firebase Zulu. What a silly name. I recently met a merchant who had passed to a place called Goliad. He told me that the ranchers and farmers are about to have a range war. Have you heard of El Camaror, the burner? They say that he has a great army in the old deserts of Mexico, and that he roasts captains alive. Barbaro. El Gran Desierto de Altar is not a place for men. It is for beasts and demons. Nothing else. A few merchants have disappeared outside of town recently. People say it is a strange cannibal hiding in the mountains, but I think it was just animals. I have heard stories of a great slave rebellion near Flagstaff, deep in the heart of Legion territory, led by a man named Spartacus. The pitiful creatures will probably be crucified, but I pray for them. Ojalá that they can taste freedom one day, even if it is in death. It is a fine town with magnificent people, every one of them. There are some undesirables on the outskirts, but they keep to themselves. We have a wonderful saloon, though its host is terribly profane. I find his abuse of your language uninspired and not at all artful.
How can I help you? Fucking bear chased me here, same as damn near everyone else. Would you believe I was in their army? I was a fucking patriot, no less. Back home? Funny. I still call it home now. Everybody waves the flag and roots for the troops, but they don't know the truth of it. Seen enough war to know that nations are just an extension of a man's worst impulses. Control, greed, hate. That's what fuels the machine. Did things I regret. Told myself I was doing it for my country. Made me go to sleep easier, but it didn't stop the nightmares. Only time does that. Years ago, I was a radio man in the Bears Army. Took part in dozens of operations in multiple theaters. It was a bloody business. Probably would have stayed in for 20 if things hadn't gotten all fucked up. We got a new captain during one campaign. An absolute fuckwit. During one sweep, the psycho fuck of a CO ordered my unit to wipe out tribal kitties. I was the one who would relay the order, so I refused. In principle, you have the right to refuse an unlawful order. But in practice, saying no to an officer is a ticket to the clink, or a firing squad. CO pulled a pistol, told me to issue the order, or he'd shoot. I voiced the order on a dead mic. Soon as he lowered the pistol, I went for him. Fighting is hairy enough when there ain't no loaded pistol involved. But let me tell you, that was an ordeal. He was big. Damn near had me. Wasn't until that pistol went off in his chest that I was clear of him. He had just about choked the life out of me. There I was, a lowly corporal standing over a dead captain. I wasn't going to let some bunch of officers on a jury decide my fate. There were bounty hunters, assassins, and the like when I ran, but I got clear of them. Eventually. Been here 15 damn years. Had a wife and 2 daughters up here, but she up and left. Said she was tired of the cold, was heading back to California. She writes sometimes. Old Vermillion was head over heels for that gal of his, Tammy. I never had nothing like that. Ours was more like a business arrangement. Life is short, and kids is as close as you can get to immortality. Figured, since we like to fuck, that we go on to the next stage of things. Ain't romantic, but hellfire. Who's got time for that sort of nonsense? Next week we could be Yao Guai shit. Or worse. So, no use ruminating on it. See you later. Welcome to fucking Frost Hill. How about a shot of whiskey to get that fucking chill out of you? First one is on the house. Lori can also offer you snatch at a reasonable rate. If you'll suffer my fucking curiosity, what brings you to our little hamlet? That's fucking commendable. Most cocksuckers around here can't be asked to lift a finger for fuck all. Enjoy a complimentary libation. I was drawn in by the placid peaks, serene snows, and colossal canyons. Certainly you're not so credulous as to accept that fucking nicety. No, I care little for the gelid gusts that shrink my scrotum, nor for the blinding blizzards that bar my morning ambulation, which I hold dear. I was a fucking tremendous practitioner of law, renowned as a goddamn doyen in my field. beholden to no cocksucker in existence. I should have been content with my station, sated with wealth and respectability, but I crave power, that awful demonic whore. Politics. It is a poison that dashes morality, reason, and even common sense. Furthermore, the fickle masses are vengeful, flagitious beasts. I was sacrificed on the altar of an autocratic orgy, thrown to the mob after a misstep, a mere stumble on the steps to higher order. Animals masquerading as men pursued me, sought to mutilate my person, and dissect me like fucking wild game. I would have none of it. Now, I am a vendor of spirits, a purveyor of bottled mirth, and giver of counsel. This is my station, and I am content with it. I fucking swear it. A chem-addled prospector proclaimed that the Legion is planning some kind of attack near Bullhead, Firebase Zama or some such. Absurd fucking name. Well, some of the passing persiflage contains mention of a grand rising of the servile masses in Arizona, unified under the banner of some Spartacus. Reviving archaic names and titles from the empires of yore will always yield positive results, as evidenced by Caesar's artful aping of the ancients. In all candor, though, the poor saps will be crushed. The survivors, crucified. The bear is too lethargic, too timid for action, to its shame. There are hyperbolic tales of some cannibal prowling outside of town. Goes by the name of Schwartz. In my opinion, it's bullshit born of sexual repression. It's like a restless viper stirring in your pants. Now I find that furious, frequent masturbation ameliorates this malignancy, though blowjobs are the definitive cure. Don't be a motherfucking stranger.
What are you doing around here, fancy pants? Oh, you come to admire my mustache, huh? Ah, that's right. Just take it all in. Good. That's what all the ladies say when I give 'em a taste of this love rug above my lips. Drives them crazy. You know, I reckon you want to touch it, don't you? Well, that's just too goddamn bad. Only Lori gets to be caressed by the love rug, stranger. Oh, well, you're the one that got Garza and Shitting Dog, whatever his name was. I don't know why Marco keeps those stupid heathens around. Here in Frost Hill, me and mine are the law, and you're the bad guy. Act a fool around here, and we will gun you down in the street. Oh, well, ain't you original? No, partner. Listen here. I've got the biggest pair of balls in 6 states. Seriously, they're as big as goddamn Deathclaw eggs, with streaky hair like this here mustache. You wanna see 'em? Yeah, I bet you do, you fucking pervert. That's why I like it up in this here mountain. Down there in them desert valleys, my nuts get to sweating like 2 pigs in an oven. Come back after my card game and I'll let you touch these big, beautiful balls while I caress my mustache. Yeah. Oh, no way, partner. You ever dream about touching this love rug, you better wake up and apologize.
What is it, honey? Sorry, I'm closed for business. Bill don't like to share me when he's in town. Sheep? You got some nerve talking to me like that. I ought to... You know, I get your point. He's been leading me around far too long. Bastard don't owe me or the sweet snatch. Come on, partner. This one's on the house.
You were back there, doing things to my Lori. I heard it all, you slimy fuck. And I am going to bury you. Then that bitch is gonna get it. Ha ha! Time to watch out!
Yes? That little bastard has a sixth sense, I swear it. You wouldn't believe how many times he slipped through our fingers. We'll get him another time. I'm afraid that's everything I have at present. Stick with Randall if you're looking for more work.
How you doing? What you got? Sometimes nicknames are just random or nonsensical, but his was dead on. Squirrely indeed. You played this one smart, and I appreciate it. We're one step closer to Marco, and the townsfolk are starting to hate us less. It was excellent work, so here's the bonus as promised. Get rested and report back when you're ready. What is it, partner? Okay, your target is Oliver Doolin, one of the most prolific caravan robbers in recent history. For over 2 decades, he and a number of cronies pillaged NCR commerce in and around the frontier. It was only recently that he teamed up with Marco. Nobody's quite sure why he got in bed with Marco, but he did. That gets him on our list. My source indicates that he's alone in a shack outside town. He might not be surrounded by a gang, but don't underestimate Doolin. He's rumored to be quick and steady. Dangerous combination. Any questions? Nobody runs with Marco unless they're a bad customer. Doolin wasn't just a robber. He killed at least one sheriff in cold blood. Besides, Brookshire is adamant about this one. NCR doesn't forgive or forget. Alright, you just watch yourself out there. Good luck.
You need something, Chief? It's nothing personal. I just heard some crazy-ass stories about you. I wanted to see if you were legitimate. I understand the fact is stranger than fiction and all that, but some of it is hard to accept. Have you heard all the things they say about you? They say you killed some giant pervert called the Judge. Bashed his head in like a bag of fucking carrots. Didn't break a sweat. Later you beat Red Bear in a knife fight and threw him off a cliff, let the coyotes eat him. Then you cut off Sergio's head with a machete. There are also stories about you killing mobsters, finding gold, and then fighting in some battle at the ranger station. To top it all off, I even heard that you took a boat to Arizona and freed a bunch of the slaves. You can understand how someone would be skeptical. Hayfork, back in NCR. It's a ways west of Redding. Damn beautiful place. It's not so hot as Mojave, nor is it freezing like here. Haven't been there in a long while. Set up from there a young age. Made my own way since. Not much else to tell. I think about it sometimes. I still have family back there. Not going back though. Left there when I was 16. Turned my back on my father after a fist fight. I sort of drifted for a while before I came into this profession. I got word years later that he had died. We hadn't spoken since I left, so I didn't go to the funeral. Closest brother sent me a harsh letter. Told me I was just a drag with no real family anymore. He had always been Dad's favorite little kiss-ass farm boy. That wasn't me. Still, you only have one family. I've worked hard to bury all those old feelings. Those kind of connections will make you weak. What do you think? Yeah, that kind of pain can be worse than a gunshot wound, you know? Hell, that's kind of cowardly, though. Not to mention unfair to my kid. Yeah, a lot of that's just putting up a strong front. Image is important in this business. It can help you bluff people, avoid violence. Truth is, I spend more time planning my actions than actually fighting. You know what I'm talking about, right? Job can be boring sometimes. You track some slob for days, bribing and intimidating people for information, and then when you finally find him, you have to be ready to fight. It's worth it though, seeing the light go out of some maniac's eyes. Never gets old to me. I wanted justice, real justice. That's rare in the wild parts of the world, but maybe even more so in what we call civilization. Seeing genuine injustice when basic morality is marked right in front of you, that's what I witnessed, and it changed me. As a hunter, I feel like the dog that keeps wolves at bay. The livestock might resent his methods, his personality, but they need him. I used to be one of the cattle, blind to the dangers around me, or just content to bury my head in the sand. The hound was always inside though. What about you? Are you one of the hounds, or are you just one of the bees? I respect your honesty. Sometimes the line between hunter and protector can be blurry. If you do cross that line, I'll come for you.